week. You guys made it. It is also the February 9th, 2024. I guess this is a big weekend for many in America at least. Probably other countries as well, I think might get into it, but it's nowhere near the way it is in America. Um, it is Super Bowl Sunday weekend. So just a day away. And San Francisco, according to Odom, I know that for a fact. It is San Francisco. That's his team. I believe San Francisco is Joe Franklin's team, the Hulk. If you guys aren't following either one of those channels, you're missing out. Both are different. Um, Odom, many of you might know him. People who come here listen to me ramble on my live sessions. Uh, Odom shows up quite frequently, fortunately, thankfully, because I enjoy his company. But he has a beautiful channel. His channel is about his homestead. He's growing, planting, and he's a great source of knowledge, as well as he's putting out some workout shorts. He's putting in the reps. And the Hulk is literally, we have a friend here saying, hello, brother. Hello, bro. Hey, how are you? Like done. Hey, I appreciate that. I appreciate you stopping by. And the Hulk is somebody who's putting in the reps every single day. Lately, he's been doing 100 push-ups every day, and then later in the day, getting in his burpees. He did a streak, I forget how many days in a row, it might have been 90, of Navy SEALs a few months ago. He never fails to put in the work. An amazing, amazing athlete. Friend is asking, how are you? I'm doing well. I hope you're doing the same. I hope you're doing well. I'm just sort of rambling on a bit, talking about football, which I have little interest in, and no real views, one way or the other. But again, it's almost a holiday in America. Americans love their football, the football party, and I think that's the main thing, is people getting together and sharing a certain passion for the sport that they love. So I can't knock them for that. Anytime people can gather and enjoy themselves peacefully, happily, it's a good thing. I appreciate the visit. As for me, I will not be watching the Super Bowl. I'm not even sure that I will still be awake when, well, I guess the Super Bowl starts around 6. I won't be awake by halftime, that's for sure. I will miss all the commercials, but I'm sure they'll be popping up through the upcoming weeks, if not months. That's another big occasion, is advertisers bringing out the big guns and creativity, which again, I got mixed feelings about. Anytime, any creative effort should be applauded. However, I'm not a materialistic person in the sense that I can really be convinced to buy something because, especially something I don't need, because of a clever commercial. I will not run out and say I need to buy this because the TV set told me to. It sort of seems like a waste of money. Speaking of which, I'm reading how much some politicians spend on their campaigns. And again, it just seems sad. I'm going to use Ron DeSantis as an example. I'm not saying this politically. So if people want to jump in and say, well, you're a liberal, this and that, the only reason is I can't think of a Democratic candidate who spent the same kind of money for so little results as Ron DeSantis did. The amount of money that he spent in his campaign, which was sort of fertile to begin with. there seemed very little reason. I think everyone knew who the Republican candidate was going to be, and he didn't run an effective campaign. He didn't campaign against the presumptive candidate, so it wasn't even a choice. But to spend that kind of money with small donors sending in $5, $10, $20 just seemed disingenuous. And that's the problem, I think, with politics across the board, is it's very disingenuous. Because so little can actually get done, and we have so many pressing problems. And I know not everyone agrees with me on what I believe the problems are, but if you think immigration is a problem, wait until the effects, the full effects of the global climate crisis hits. And we're going to have people from all over the world seeking help, seeking a better place to live, seeking safety, seeking shelter. Everything right now needs to be mitigated to help people. That's what politics should be about. It's not about power. I shouldn't even say power, because we have a misperception of power. It's about force. It's about being able to wield force against others. Tribalism. My tribe against your tribe. Instead of everyone needs help. Every single one of us needs help. Or we're going to need some kind of help eventually. And the government should be funded for that purpose alone. So this is a rare political rant that I go on, but it's not a political rant against any other party. I seldom ever say what party I belong to, because I try not to get political. I think people can guess easily. But as for what my politics are, I have no trouble saying my politics are for kindness. My politics are for inclusiveness. My politics are for helping those who need help. And again, as I just mentioned, we all are going to need help. Every single one of us, in some way. My politics are preventing the climate crisis from growing worse. It's from protecting, my politics are protecting the environment, completely so. If you think that not caring for the environment is a low priority, then see how long you can hold your breath. Drink dirty water. Eat contaminated food. The environment is us. We are the environment. There's no separation between the two. It seems like those who are going to be affected most of this have bought into the politics of disbelief. It's not going to happen to me. That this politician said he's going to take care of me, and he's going to punish those who think differently than I do. It's not how it works. No one person gets punished that we all don't suffer from that effect. All of us, we're all in this together. And that's the whole thing with the environment, because it proves that inseparability. Making sure that word came out okay. I'm making sure it's even a word, actually. We are all products belonging in the very depth of the fabric of the environment itself. We cannot be removed from the environment, even a little bit. We think we can escape it. We think we can escape it by how we term animals. We don't call them, we don't say that we are eating a baby cow, we're eating veal. We're eating steak, we're eating hamburger. Some chicken, but we separate. Sorry, this is a subject of passion for me. And then I think in terms of how we remove ourselves from the actuality of experiences. You know, when we eat a hamburger, we're not eating just a cow. We're eating several cows. It's not just from one animal the way it used to be. It's from lots of animals on a conveyor belt that produces ground beef. And within that ground beef, we have chemicals, we have hormones, we have antibiotics, all stuff in our food that we don't need. And all of it's in there designed so that the animal itself will live just long enough to be slaughtered that people can consume. And yet we never ask, where does this come from? Which is no surprise, because we never ask of ourselves, where do I come from? Who am I? What am I? If we did, if we practiced that form of self-inquiry where we just incessantly asked, who am I? Eventually we would come to the conclusion that we are everything. Again, inseparable from the environment, inseparable from the land, inseparable from the animals, inseparable from the air that we breathe, inseparable from the oceans. As go one, so goes everything. As goes everything, so goes one. The micro and the macro. So the sooner we wake up to that, the better. This is why Jesus said, the least among us. Jesus gave very explicit directions on religion. Sermon on the Mount is all about being kind. It's all about forgiving. It is all about taking care of each other. And of course, not just Jesus. St. Paul, letter in the Corinthians. And I might read that. St. Paul's letter to the Corinthians. Might be one of my favorite biblical passages. And I am not one to overly quote from the Bible outside of the Psalms, outside of the Talmud, outside of Sermon on the Mount, the Beatitudes. Our friend Destiny Forever Walks, PhD, is here. Grand Day Eric, how are you? I see you have a visitor. I do have a visitor. And I appreciate that. All visitors are welcome. And I appreciate my friend Destiny being here. Always. So, St. Paul's letter to the Corinthians. Just because it is absolutely so beautiful. I'll just read a section of it. The part I think most of us know, most of us love. Cowboy Larry asks, are you a Christian? No, I am not a Christian. But I appreciate you asking. I went to a Catholic school through my formative years, all the way up to my first year in high school. But early on, even when I was in Catholic school, I think my path sort of diverged from that. Exploration into yogic philosophy, yogic psychology, Buddhism, Taoism, shamanism. And then you get to the point where you just sort of let even that go. And I'd like to think, as my friend, the author Robert Saltzman says, he's a beingist. And I'd like to think of myself as a beingist. That my practice, my celebration, my religion, my beliefs are all based upon simply being, which is a changeable philosophy, because beingness itself is flexible by its very nature. It's what we are. Right now, I'm simply being, and that means that I'm embracing, I'm rejecting, I am feeling, I am thinking, I am breathing, all of these things that constitute being. There's no separation of anyone, anything. That what I'm experiencing now is part of the experience of being me. So, St. Paul, love is patient and kind. Love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not replace a wrongdoing. It does not rejoice at wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. Love embraces and resists. To me, it's some of the most beautiful language in any written text whatsoever. It is similar to Buddhist texts. It is similar to some of the Taoist teachings. It is very similar to yogic wisdom, which is no surprise. It's why Huxley, the perennial truth, the perennial philosophy, that there is a single universal truth that is represented of playing as a theme within every religion, every philosophy. We can actually, Google is such a great tool. But you got to be careful when you're Googling things up. Like here's a supposed quote from the Buddha on love. Love is a gift of one's innermost soul to another, so both can be whole, which I can certainly guarantee you is not a quote from the Buddha, who taught explicitly against the belief of the continuation of a soul. The whole basis of Buddhism, philosophically, is there is no inherent self that can be said that acts as a soul. It was a teaching against Atman, actually. Our friend Odom Homestead is here, saying hello. Odom, how are you? I talked about you at the beginning of the live session, how you're a San Francisco fan, and that this is Super Bowl weekend, as well as I mentioned, somehow talking about Super Bowl weekend brought me all the way to politics, to quoting St. Paul, to searching for quotes on love from the Buddha. I don't know how that happened. I have no idea how any of this happens. It's a mystery. So, Destiny says, beingness is to exist. Everything became I am, pure bliss, pure love, and only one vibrating being, the whole area with all living beings in it. Yes. Beautifully said. And so often, you say something like that, Destiny, and it just resonates deeply. It sums up everything I was trying to say perfectly so. And we've talked about that I am presence, particularly the perspective from Nisargadatta Maharishi's book, I Am That, when he talks about how I am precedes everything. I am is the awareness from which everything emerges. To be anything begins with I am, and that's reflected in the language that we use. I am this, I am that, I am tall, I am thin, I am whatever. All that is just a descriptive after effect of the presence of I am. I am itself is none of those things, but it manifests as those things. I am is the absolute of all beginnings. I am, and so the world comes. I am, and so my world comes. It's the way some of the teachers in Kabbalah talk when they say God is, and you don't need to finish that sentence. Just say God is, and then be silent. Because God is. It's all inclusive. It's already implied in that very sentence. It's the same as when we say I am. Anything after is just obvious. So there are 4 elements of true love in Buddhism. Loving kindness, compassion, empathetic joy, and equanimity. All aspects of love. If we don't reflect any of those in our politics, we're missing the politics of love. Politics without love is simply force. It's simply one side looking after itself versus at the expense of another side. There shouldn't be sides in politics. It should be, and of course there is, but what I'm saying is in itself, if we were to take a step back and reinvent politics, would we want to have a politics of sides, of tribes, of us against them, whoever them might happen to be? And that's the great thing about that type of politics. There will always be a them. We can always pick a new them. We can always say, they're not one of us. We need to be careful of them. There is no them. There's only us. That's the politics of love. The politics of love should include loving kindness, should include compassion, empathetic joy, and equanimity. That's language of the Buddha. I don't know. Let's see. Destiny says, I am beyond being and non-being. Exactly. The absolute. The absolute is beyond that which is, because it's isness itself. And yet at the same time as destiny, it's also the absence of isness. It's that which allows things to emerge and things to fall back on. We could call it the great cosmic breath. For every exhalation, the universe becoming the Big Bang, there is, sorry, I'm making hand gestures as I speak, but no one can see them. There is the inhalation, the coming back, drawn back into the absolute. And it doesn't matter what term we'd like to use. I think in Genesis, the beautiful description of the breath of God is such a great way of seeing the expansion of the universe from the absolute, the expansion of the universe from a singularity of existence. This condensed, infinitely small, energetic point that somehow received a whisper to expand. And so it did. Let's pull up Genesis. I think, I was talking about St. Paul's letters to the Corinthian, and I talk about the Psalms quite a bit. I always, probably 2 or 3 times a week, end up talking about the Beatitudes. But I also think Genesis um, is one of the most beautiful parts of the Bible. One of the things I always reflect upon um, is the ending of Genesis. God saw all that he had made, and it was good. What does that leave out? Is there anything in existence that God didn't make? And is there anything in existence that inherently, at its core, isn't good if it was made from God? Maybe we don't understand what it is, how it works, why it's even here. But if we're going to quote from the Bible, if we're going to believe that quote, invest in it, that God saw all that he had made and it was very good, to me that just sort of implies the great mystery. We don't understand. Even more, we don't understand what we don't even understand. It's unfathomable, ineffable. We never will. We're not supposed to. But if we're quiet, we go beyond understanding. We go to what Destiny was saying, that I am the beingness. It's beyond understanding because it simply is. We don't understand, it could be explained scientifically, but regular me, non-scientific me, I don't understand how I breathe beyond, the very limited scientific idea of how it works. But I breathe. That's the difference between knowing or that type of knowledge and the knowing of simple existence, the knowing of beingness. My heart pumps. I don't have any teaching in anatomy other than a little that I gained through the study of yoga and as a personal trainer. I don't know the kinetic energy of muscles. I don't know how or why the lungs expand and contract. I don't know the function of the heart. I don't know how the brain works. And yet I do know all of that in the simplicity of beingness, because here I am. My heart is beating. My lungs are breathing. My brain is thinking. My eyes are seeing. All the knowledge of how or why I know nothing about. But at that core sense of beingness itself, I know it all. And then I extend that to the very function of the universe. Of course I know how the universe works, because I'm a functioning part of the universal order. The word of the day seems to be inseparable. I am an inseparable part. Not even that. To even say inseparable, an inseparable part, means that I'm here and the universe is here and that we're inseparable. It's more intimate than that. As many conversations that I've had, both with Destiny and Odom as well, we've talked about this, that there is just the universe. I am the universe. But you know what? I think about that when that last passage in Genesis, most specifically, when we don't believe that we deserve something, when we don't believe that we deserve God's love, when we think in terms of self-hatred, self-denial, self-loathing. I think of that last line, God saw all that he made and it was good. Why would we leave ourselves out of that equation? Why would we leave ourselves out of, it didn't say God saw all that he had made, and it was good. It was very good, except for Eric. I think I might have messed up a little bit with him. Other than that, everything else is very good. We're going to have to work on Eric. Or you could put in anything in there. But that's not what he said. Everything he made, and it was good. All that he had made, and it was good. Odom says, I know he gave us Mullen for our heart health and Oregon for blood pressure. That's the wisdom that you can find from Odom's homestead. That's the wisdom of knowing how to grow things. That the importance of knowing stuff like that. So thank you for sharing that information. Destiny says, out of nothingness came I am, or beingness. And indeed, out of nothing, it's just so, to me, it's mind-blowing. Out of nothingness came I am. I think that's all we need to say. Out of nothingness came I am. I thought you meant oregano. Our friend Brian is here. Brian Lane, what's up, buddy? Hope you're having a great day. I am having a pretty good day. So far. We got some greetings from Destiny to Brian. You gonna get in a workout today, Brian? I haven't seen it up on Facebook, but I have no doubt that you have something planned, something big planned. You always do, it seems. Not to mention, if you guys visit Brian's channel, he's got some great talks on breathing, some great talks on meditation. It's just a positive channel. It's a great place to visit when you need a little inspiration. Not just the hard work and the great reps, but the fact that he's putting out quality information with the sole purpose of just helping people. To me, these are the most important channels on YouTube. Destiny's channel, Odom's channel, Brian's channel. Brian says, maybe working on slower one pumps. I did some last night, but I didn't record. I did some one pumps today too. I did sets of 25, the nasal breathing. Odom says leg day, leg today, squats for me. I've taken a sabbatical from squats. It's been about a month. On the wise advice from our friend Duncan Walsh Fitness, he thought that that might be maybe not the cause of some back issues, but that it was inhibiting my recovery. And I still do, as part of my warm-up every day, I do Qigong wall squats, which provides a great stretch, mobility for the spine, but more importantly, what it does is opens up the energetic sections of the spine. Brian says, I did some for 22 minutes without stopping last night, but only doing them slow. Nothing wrong with that. Getting the reps in. And 22 minutes of burpees is no easy feat, no matter what the pace happens to be. Cowboy Larry says, chest, shoulders, and triceps for me today, 2 hours long. Wow, it's a big workout. I used to, when my bodybuilding days enjoy doing back and shoulders together, especially in a superset fashion. Chest and shoulders would be absolutely brutal. So good on you, Larry. Brian says, glad you're having a great day, man. I appreciate that. I mostly do. You know, things happen. Some of them good, some of them bad, but the day itself goes on as it does. And, you know, it holds it all. Our friend, it is what it is. Lewis is here. Good morning, Eric in chat. Lewis, how are you? Brian says, I still do weights every once in a while. I do bench on Saturdays. Yeah, I saw a video of you benching, I think it was 240, and you had every weight imaginable on your bar. Impressive. Repping out with 240. Impressive. Cowboy Larry says, I'm glad you're having a good day. Thank you. I appreciate that. I hope you're having a good day as well. Odom says, I did burpees yesterday. Didn't record them. Got to record the burpees, Odom. I am enjoying your shorts of you getting the reps in, putting the work in every day. Great to see that. Lewis says, feeling great, Eric, because today is a banger, guys. I'm almost done loading. Looking forward to seeing it. Are we doing 3 pumps again? Did we jump up to 4 pumps? There will be a day very soon when you will see the return of Mr. 5 Pump. You know what? I think everyone will know. I think we'll feel it in the air. This is going to be like a slight, this sort of hush is going to collectively fall over the universe. And if you're very, very still, you'll sense it. Today is the day. Mr. 5 Pumps is reborn from the ashes like a phoenix rising. I don't know when that day will be, but again, I just have the feeling, collectively as a whole, it's going to be a moment of silence. And everyone's just going to nod. And we're going to know. Destiny says, hello and happy Friday. It is what it is. So you're bringing another big banger. Can't wait to see it. Yep. You know, every day is a tough one from It Is What It Is. So when he says today is a big day, then you know it's going to be a big day in his estimate. Because when I watch it every day, I think that's a big day. So when he says it, you know it's not like some outlandishly big day. It is what it is. Says, good morning, Sister Destiny. Happy Friday. Yes, I am. Thanks to Queen. She called me out. Uh-oh. So a challenge was thrown down. Nothing like the gauntlet being thrown and somebody stepping up to the plate. And you know, when It Is What It Is stepping up to the plate, it's going to be a big swing. Am I mixing up my metaphors? I should be using football metaphors for this weekend. To be honest, I don't have a single football metaphor to use. Lewis says, you know how I feel about challenges, Eric? I remember you and Duncan last fall or at the end of last summer exchanging some challenges. And actually, you stepped right up. Duncan's training is not your typical style of training. It's not your typical approach. But you didn't hesitate at all. You stepped right up and took the challenge and impressed Duncan. who's been around, not easily impressed. Cowboy Larry says, how often do you go live? I go live every day. Yeah, for whatever reason. I never come here with anything important to say, and yet I end up talking for indeterminate length of time. Just like the Jerry Seinfeld show, talking about nothing, or a show about nothing. And I go live every day and talk about nothing, which is not a bad thing. It's what Destiny and I were talking about. Everything comes from nothing. So coming here with no pressure of having anything important to say, all kinds of stuff can come out. And I'll tell you some of my favorite topics. You know, I love talking about all the stuff that I was talking about, but when this particular group gets together and we just start winging it, especially when, you know, burpees end up being a big part of the conversation, of course. Let's see. I don't want to miss anything. Destiny says, Queen Sunkiss called you out. It is what it is. She's in trouble and is going to get it. I told her to leave you alone. You know what, though? A good challenge. Sometimes we all need it. Sometimes we need that gauntlet to be thrown down and to step up and to stare at the abyss. And that's, there you go. It is what it is. Says, yes, she did. Sister, definitely, but I needed that energy. And Lewis says, Eric, your lives are very inspirational to us. I appreciate hearing that. That I'm not just, I don't know, I was going to say, you know, wasting time. I don't think you can waste time. Anything that you enjoy doing is well invested. And I definitely enjoy coming here and just having a conversation. Destiny says, bring it to her, and I know you will. Definitely looking forward to seeing this. So she did exactly what needed to be done. She didn't just call him out. She saw that potential of what needed to be done and said, Lewis, you are just the man. You're just the man to get this job done. You are just the man to give this the energy that Dig needs. And he stepped up. Odom says, yes, great live stream. Thanks, Odom. I appreciate that. And you know what? If there's anything that's great here, it's the company, for sure. Otherwise, it's just me talking about yoga for 40 minutes, 45 minutes. And aspects of yoga. Cowboy Larry says, by the way, well, let me read the quote real quick, or the statement. It's pretty relaxing here. It's a nice change of pace. I appreciate that. What I was going to say, by the way, is Cowboy Larry is an absolutely great name. I can't think of a better name. I should have just had mine Yogi Eric, and instead I went with the longest possible YouTube name that might be in YouTube existence. I don't know why I didn't think of Yogi Eric, but Cowboy Larry is an absolute perfect name. We got a hint from Lewis, ankle weights. Always a tough deal. I've done some of my workouts in the vest, but I haven't done them in ankle weights. So I'll have to look and see if I still have them. Odom says yes, it's hard to keep up with a lot of people in live stream. Yeah, I don't get very many people here, so it's a little easier. I know some of you guys get tons, but you know what? It's good because this way it's an actual conversation, which is important. I like to think of conversation as an art form, and that we're all engaged in it. That all of us are integral to the art being produced. And art doesn't have to have any great purpose other than creativity itself. Cowboy Larry says, thank you. Your name is good too. Thanks. I appreciate that. It could be shorter. My name could definitely be shorter. Destiny says, it is what it is. Queen challenged me on the treadmill. It was her called out when she attempted to dance on the treadmill. She got thrown off. Wow. She survived though. I was glad for that. I am glad for that as well. I hope she wasn't hurt. Yeah, it's not. Destiny makes it look simple. She makes it look easy. She makes it appear to be something that we could all step on and do, but no, it isn't. Odom says, I should have used Country Grower as my name. You think? I don't know. I like Odom's Homestead. It's got a sincerity to it. Odom's Homestead. It's welcoming. I think of Odom's Homestead and I think of someone opening up the door and saying, welcome. Come in. This is where I work. This is my plot of land. This is what I love. You know what I mean? It really is like you're inviting me in your home. Lewis says, OMG Destiny, I gotta find that video. I'm glad she's okay. Did she post that? And Lewis says, not everyone is built for what you do on the treadmill. Very inspirational. I agree 100%. And she makes it look flawless and full of grace as she does it. Lewis says your name on a shirt would be long, Eric. Yeah, it would. Somebody asked me if I was going to ever do merchandise, which I hadn't thought of until they mentioned it. But I don't think it would fit. I don't think it would fit on a coffee mug. It would be one big coffee mug, one of those giant mugs. Destiny says, to Odom, I see. Let's see. I see where you created a new shorts video channel. Awesome. Got to get visits there. Yeah, I absolutely love him. He's putting in there. He's getting the reps, putting in the work every day. That's a great gym setup you have too. Odom's Homestead says my last name is Odom. Interesting. GameZone 123 says, hey. Hey, GameZone, how are you? Appreciate you stopping in. Destiny says about Queen. She posted it. It was in her short, I believe. It was about a month ago. Odom says, thank you, Destiny. Started it last year to help people reach their milestones. It is great to watch. Noah says he's going to look for the video. And we got some hellos being exchanged. So, I'm about 50 minutes here. Sorry, I didn't mean to startle everyone with an extreme close-up, which you got to be careful about when you're on camera and your head is shaved, because if you do that extreme close-up, people think it's like some kind of eclipse. All of a sudden, this planet is blocking everything out. So, with that, guys, gonna call it a day. I promised my brother that I would give him a ride someplace, and I got to get in my afternoon meditation before I do so. When I get back, when I'm done meditating, when I get back from driving my brother, I got some videos to check out. Particularly, It Is What It Is, and I think Brian says he's going to be doing some one pumps today. Lewis says he's got some shaving to do himself. Yeah, I'm going to need to trim up some stuff as well. And have a great day, YouTube family. Thank you. You too. Have a blessed weekend, everyone. Hey, everyone, be safe. Enjoy the Super Bowl. I know you guys will probably be watching. I will, again, probably be asleep before halftime hits. Destiny says, thanks, everyone, for the Fellowship of Beingness. I absolutely love that name. I appreciate all y'all's feedback. Much love. Message from Cowboy Larry. Appreciate you being here, Cowboy Larry. The Fellowship of Beingness. Because we're all here. Simply being. It Is What It Is says he won't be watching the Super Bowl. Yeah, sorry. Your team didn't make it. I know Odom's team, San Francisco. And again, I think Hulk, Joe, I think that's his team as well. Should, from what I understand, should be a good game. I'm not even sure who's in the halftime show. I know that's a big thing as well. If you watch it, enjoy it. The whole event, you know, again, it's a big, big thing for so many people. And anything that brings us together, it's a good thing as far as I'm concerned. Destiny says, Kansas is there, and so am I. So we got a Kansas fan in the house. When I was a kid, never even thought of Kansas. Kansas City Chiefs. They just never seemed to register as a team. You know, we're talking the 70s. I could be mistaken. But, you know, for me, being born in Pittsburgh, it was all about the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then living near Baltimore, it's all about the Baltimore Colts. But being in between Baltimore Colts, Baltimore and D.C., I could also legitimately call myself a Redskins fan. Especially during that time. That was during the John Riggins, Joe Theismann days. Early 80s. But football, every era had some team that I could have cheered for. From the Green Bay Packers to the Miami Dolphins in 1971. Even, and I know, I'm going to say goodbye after I say this because I know I'll catch grief for it. Even New England in the Tom Brady era. A team that amazes me. Tom Brady as an athlete amazes me. He's easy to pick on, but man, I don't know. All right, before I say goodbye, and I mentioned this to Lewis once before, the reason why. Because after the last game of the season, be it a regular game, a playoff game, or the Super Bowl, he had his plan of training already drawn up on a whiteboard. He knew exactly what he was going to do the very next day. He was getting ready for the upcoming season. He was in training. Didn't take a day off. Didn't shake his head and say, I need to rest and recover and get ready. he was out throwing football. So for me, that kind of commitment, I know nothing about him as a person, but that kind of a commitment, that's the kind of stuff that I like. So, all right, guys, with that, I'm going to run off before I catch some Tom Brady grief. I'll see you guys later.